Hello everyone, the MLG Skylander Man 360 here today, and today we are reacting to Little Mac versus Impo. This is a matchup that I've heard about even through a little of the Death Battle community. It's a more or less another boxing matchup, but a really good and interesting boxing matchup between a video game series that to Nintendo to this day, I always remember it ended to the Wii era, but it's gotten revivals at times. And Impo, which I have never watched in my life, so it's not a series I'm familiar with comparison to Little Mac series comparison. I played some on a collective editions of the classic versions, or even I'm even I even gone so far to going to find a Wii version of this game so I can actually play it again, as I remember renting it from a video store back a few years ago. I can't remember what it was like back then, but I'm more intrigued to see how this matchup is done. And this is made by Volts Gaming of his Debate Club series, so I'm kind of wondering where this fight will go. But anyway, guys, without any further ado, let's begin the reaction.
Boxing, what started off as two dudes punching each other for funsies, now evolved into a legitimate sport. And these two are the most iconic boxers in fiction. Little Mac, the bruiser of the Bronx, and Makunoichi Ippo, Japan's featherweight slugger. In this debate, we will be looking at both competitors' anime and video game appearances. That being said, we will be excluding crossovers because I refuse to believe that Ippo and Inuyasha are on equal footing. Also, no Gigamac because, I mean, come on.
That.
With that being said, I make Jesus and we'll go over their origin and skills to determine who would win in this episode of The Debate Club.
I really do love this. Like, the fact you see the character's image and then it's the loading screen. I really like that. That's a good touch.
The World Video Boxing Association, a place where all walks of life come to prove themselves in an attempt to become champion. This includes fighters such as the strict Von Kaiser, the crazed Aaron Ryan, the suave Don Flamenco, and the menacing, unstoppable, absolute monster, Glass Joe. Oh, and Gabby J. Yay. Among these fighters was a young man who was determined to claim that championship himself. His name was Mac, and at just 17 years old, he entered the WBBA.
Alright.
He was gonna make the whole world know the name Little Mac. I mean, he's not even that short. He's only 5'7".
Yeah.
But I guess he needed a nickname. To all the ladies out there, he's not short. Your standards are just too high. Despite his desire to become the best, Little Mac didn't really have that much skill in boxing. In fact, he was on a losing streak so bad, he was told to hang up the gloves. Because, you know, that's the kind of motivation someone needs at a young age. Things were pretty bleak. That's when he was taken in by the boxing expert Doc Lewis, who took Mac in and trained him to become a punching machine. Weighing at just around 107 pounds, Little Mac is around the minimum weight class in boxing, which makes his struggle even more difficult, seeing that there's no real weight class division in the WBBA. This means Mac has to fight people twice his own weight. So to combat this, he begins training non-stop so that he can not only fight above his weight class, but get ahead. After hours and hours of analyzing and researching, we can determine that Mac is a swarmer. A swarmer-style boxer capitalizes on dodging attacks and swarming their opponents with a barrage of punches for quick KOs. And Little Mac follows this strategy to a T. It's how he was able to take out big brutes such as King Hippo, who, while we don't have an official weight for, we can easily classify him as a heavyweight. I mean, it's not that hard, guys. Mac can perform moves like the Star Punch, where he stores momentum from the fight to fire a powerful right hook that can knock out even the toughest boxer. But if he wants to go for the kill, he unleashes his signature KO punch, an uppercut so fierce and powerful that it practically guarantees victory. With Doc Lewis's help and knowledge of all things boxing, Mac is able to keep up with all sorts of boxers that cheat, straight up bum rush you like a bull, some that use a staff, and some that are just straight up clowns? I'm sorry, but I just have to ask what kind of regulations there are in the WVBA, because it seems to me like anyone can join. I mean, come on, this guy's just straight up using magic. Like, what the hell? Little Mac's fists are not only weapons in and of themselves, but they're also tough enough to withstand hitting sewer lids off of King Hippo's belly. Yeah, that's solid iron right there. He even knocked out the Donkey Kong. Yeah, at this point, I feel like the only requirement in joining the WVBA is just to show up with boxing gloves and say, hey, I want to punch people. You're in, kid. A typical silverback gorilla skeleton, more importantly its skull, can withstand around 200 kilograms or around 2,844 psi's of force.
Dang.
Compare that to the hardest punch ever recorded by Vlad Klitschko, which is around 1,100 psi. That puts Little Mac's strongest punch potential at almost 3 times stronger than that of the strongest punch on Earth. He's also able to react to Great Tiger's mystical punches. While not exact teleportation, it does go to show how far his training has led him. It kinda makes sense how he was able to beat legendary Hall of Famer Mike Tyson, who has one of the most legendary records of 50 wins and 8 losses. Oh, and 48 of those wins were knockouts. And Mac has held 3 different championships in 3 different circuits. Although there is one weakness to Mac, his stamina. If a skilled enough boxer can block and dodge his attacks enough, he will tire out to the point where he can't even raise his hands to defend himself, leaving him wide open, and if he's not careful, down for the count. But despite all that, with a record like this and insane power behind those fists, it's no surprise he's known as the Bruiser of the Bronx. The world will finally know the name of their champion, Little Mac.
Ooh, son. You about ready for some chocolate cake?
Oh my lord.
Another wildly busy Wednesday.
When it comes to that, like, how just... So he has that more stamina problem, but he still has some good defense, knowing his opponents. As far as I could tell. Very surprised he didn't mention
Under the training of boxing expert Kamigawa, Ippo was taught a multitude of boxing techniques, all of which incorporate his unnatural strength with some footwork to keep himself moving. Similar to an outboxer.
Dang.
An outboxer focuses on moving around their opponent and capitalizing on their mistakes to score punches. He learned techniques like the gazelle punch, liver punch, counters, hooks, you know, the bread and butter of boxing. His peekaboo stance is actually inspired by the Mike Tyson, keeping his guard up while swaying around to use the momentum to allow his punches to gain even more power. This is how he unleashed his ultimate attack, the Dempsey Roll. A wave of punches so strong, so fierce, that they'll leave your neck...
dying.
Oh my god.
When he's not flipping your chin upside down, he spends his days working those muscles on his day job or at the gym. If he's on the ropes, you can rely on Kamigawa to help him out with some pointers or a good old slap on the back. I mean, Kamigawa is an expert and has fought during World War II, so he knows a thing or two about boxing. Ippo would go on to win it's time.
Alright.
Both combatants are ready, and it is time to put the debate to rest.
Let's see where this goes. Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The boxing
welcome to the main event. In the white corner from New York City, standing 5'7" and weighing 107 pounds, the bruiser of the Bronx, Little Mac. And in the red corner from Tokyo, Japan, standing 5'5" and weighing 126 pounds, he is the featherweight slugger, Makunoichi, Ippo. Which of these two boxers has what it takes to claim the belt? It is time to find out.
Oh, okay.
Both fighters are ready.
Oh.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Hey. Hey. Oh.
And just like that, Ippo is the first to fall. Uh-oh, looks like Ippo's back on his feet. Better be careful, Mac. This fight isn't over yet. Whoa! Ippo just punched Mac out of the ring! Does this count as a ring out? Well, I guess we wait for Mac to re-enter and... Wait, what? What's Ippo doing? It looks like this is gonna be a no-holds-barred.
The fact that it would be even. Oh!
Is that blood? Ooh, that is not a good look for you. It's anyone's game now. And there it is, the Dempsey roll.
Oh.
It looks like this is the end.
Doesn't he uppercut? Or there's chances.
Whoa!
Oh, his arm!
Talk about disarming your opponent. Mac moves in for the finishing rush.
Oh, crap! Yeah, that was a really uppercut.
And Little Mac takes it in absolutely brutal fashion.
Dang.
Oh, so we gotta clean this up, right?
Oh. Oh, that was brutal. Oh.
Fun fact, in boxing, there are many cases of competitors dying during and after matches, which technically makes boxing the only sport that legally allows you to kill someone. I don't know, I just thought that was a fun fact you should know.
That's kind of an awful
this match
fact.
was really
If you think
close.
about it,
I would be
Jesus.
hard-pressed to say that Ippo wouldn't be able to take
Not
him.
really good fun fact for
I
me.
mean, they both have such strong punching powers, and when it comes to versatility,
Oh, Lord.
Ippo would be able to tire Mac if the fight takes long enough. However, all
Oh,
Mac
this
really
is
needed
making
was
no
one good hit.
Eh.
I mean, Mac was trained to topple people twice his weight, so you know his punches are no joke. If we compare their respective animal feats, it's no contest that a bear would definitely take the win. However, that's if it was a grizzly. Takamura knocked out a black bear, which is more smaller than its brown counterpart. This makes their strength feats actually more on par with each other. Not that that matters anyways, because not only is that more of a Takamura feat, but in their arm wrestling contest between Ippo and Takamura, Ippo lost. With so much back and forth between the two, how did we ever come up with a winner? Well, when in doubt, tire them out. We need to see how much they can take before they go down for good. In the case of Ippo, he's been through the ringer on nearly every fight he's been in. It's impressive for sure, but the strongest punches Ippo's face pale in comparison to Little Mac, who can stop the bull rush. You know, the attack that's literally an almost 300-pound man running at you. Not only did Little Mac stop that attack in its tracks, but if utilizing a star punch, he can even send Bull flying back. This means that Little Mac can not only stop, but also punch out 300 pounds around like nothing. Not only that, but the real deal breaker here was their experience. If we were to count every opponent Mac has faced, not counting rematches or return appearances, Mac has faced around 27 different opponents, which, while yes, is only one more than the number of boxing matches Ippo's faced, Little Mac's opponents, let me remind you, are twice his weight. Hell, some are either gorillas or Southern Islanders or sewer lids. There's really nothing Ippo can do to push Mac to his limits. Ippo might have tenacity, but in this case, it only prolonged the inevitable. In the end, Little Mac had the power, the endurance, and the experience needed to win this bout by permanent knockout. Poor Ippo, this loss really tore him apart. The winner is Little Mac.
Way back, baby.
Oh. Alright. Who's the next time, then? Let's say, who's the next time? Oh. Okay. I actually don't know this one. This is actually one of those anime I don't know. Yeah, I do not know these two. That actually is awkward to some of y'all. I actually don't know those two. But yeah, that was Little Mac versus Ippo. I kind of figured it would go Little Mac, considering his opponents he faces in those games. They're always going to cheat, and he's never going to allow it. He plays fair. And I actually do respect that with Little Mac. At least he plays fair. Yeah, and I guess I kind of see why they didn't include Giga Mac, because that fight would just been what? Why would we include it? I can see that now. But yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please go subscribe to Vault Gaming. These are really good actual debates, and I actually kind of enjoy these. And these are really unique comparison to what I've seen so far. But anyway, guys, I will see y'all in the next one. Later.